Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack Open live from DreamHack Summer. We are in our opening match here at day number 2 between North and the Red Reserve, where North just took a confident victory on their first map on Nuke.
Yeah, we're now moving to Overpass, which should be more of Red Reserve territory, but North is still a team to be feared on this map. They still have the individual talents of Kirby and Valde. If they step up, AC also did a good job on Nuke. So there's a lot to be said about North, but I think we need to focus on Red Reserve. They need to pull through and do something more than they did on Nuke. That was simply not enough.
Yeah, we saw like moments of glory, I guess you could say, throughout the map on Nuke from Red Reserve, but the problem is it was so spread and far between that it kind of undershadowed itself as we got towards the end of the match, that there really wasn't a whole lot of redeeming factors sadly about Red Reserve that were consistent. That was the problem, is we saw guys showing up every once in a while. Disco Doppelin specifically and Hampus come to mind as the two players that had those good rounds every once in a while, but it was so inconsistent that we could never really rely on it. We could never say, okay, this is going to show up and save the day once again.
Yeah, you definitely need some more consistency if you want to compete at a best-of-3 LAN level against like top 10 teams, as technically North would be right now. So that's definitely something they need to work on, Red Reserve, and something they'll be looking back at when they go home from this line, even if they win this game or lose this game in the end. Like, how do we add more consistency to our lineup, especially on the maps that we're not very confident on? And yeah, pistol round stats doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense, because I'm pretty sure that North just won a couple of pistols in that last game.
Or maybe before the series started.
Maybe before the series, both of them lost pistols. That makes sense. But yeah, we're going to move into Overpass. So Overpass in general, a map where North, especially with the way that he can play around Mertz on the CT side and on the T side as well. Like with that short, quick peek, they can hold long. He can pretty much rotate all around the map, so it's going to be very hard for the Red Reserve guys to kind of play around him. They need to use a lot of utility to kind of counter him out, especially his aggressive AWPing will be one of the things that I'm going to watch, especially when they play that CT side.
Yeah, we only saw it a little bit back on Nuke. We saw maybe like 1 or 2 rounds where he was really able to show off his good positioning capabilities, along with like, just his capability to hit really quick shots in the move too.
Yeah.
And we saw that like once or twice, and what we did see was like really good, but sadly it was kind of underutilized, so I'm hoping a little bit more on Overpass we can see that shine out more, because it is a bit more of an AWP-friendly map, I suppose, where Nuke has a lot of kind of close quarter situations. The AWP can be used in some positions, but for the most part, it's going to be a little bit awkward to try and use it close up.
Yep. In the huddle right now, of course, North, as they usually are, as Danish teams usually are before a game. You see the Swedes just at their PCs, just like getting ready, getting warmed up, and North are like in the huddle discussing the final like strategical changes before going into the game. We see all the players giving feedback. The coach started, and then the players come in, and then MSL will have the closing words before they sit back down and get into the game.
So it's just going to be a couple more moments, guys, before we do dive back into this. I imagine North's confidence is doing pretty well right now, especially after the somewhat unfortunate start that they had yesterday, dropping a match to Imperial.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried for them potentially kind of having the same issues here in this matchup, but wasn't the case. Maybe a little bit of a back and forth start back on Nuke. Well, once they got things rolling, they really got it rolling. We start seeing these guys kicking it up big time, so they're back in form now. And we're going to get to see if they can continue and repeat what happened a few weeks ago, where they 2-0'd the same roster on the same exact maps.
Yesterday they just wanted to have time to watch the Danish national football game. That's obviously why they lost that map. Memes, of course, nothing serious. But now they're back and looking to, as you say, 2-0. Overpass, as we discussed many times before, still a possibility for Red Reserve. This is not a bad map for them per se. Still not a good one either. Like, they have some decent results. It seems to be it's either they're playing insanely well and there's so much momentum going for them. Like, they have beat Tyloo 16-2, they beat Renegade 16-3, but then they come up against stronger opposition, like North, for example, and they seem to really struggle. Either it's going to be very easy for them, or it's going to be very hard for them, and that seems to be the case. Are they going to hit the day against North here? That's the question we're trying to answer.
All right, guys. Well, here we go into the second map of the series, and the last chance now for the Swedish roster to keep themselves in the fight for the trophy. Red Reserve, they need to win this one out, or elimination will be in their future here. Let's get into it, and let's see who can take control of this pistol. North taking control, I believe, of both of them on the previous map. We'll see if they can go 3 for 3 in this series.
Twist with the raid boss setup, P250 armor, and Hamp is going to go with P250 flashbang. So this is definitely setting up for some early map control, maybe focusing on one duel with Twist leading, and then one flash going in towards the bomb site.
Oh, Hampus with a nice shot, bit of an extended duel against Mertz, but he makes it happen, and that is going to leave Valde out to dry. Sadly, there's no way for him to retreat. Kirby with 2 nice headshots, though, against Freddy B and Brolot, and he's got support here, too, but quickly, both of them will be knocked out. And that's a good start for Red Reserve now. They brought it down to a 3v1, and all the pressure for the round shifts to AZ.
And this is the kind of difference a P250 or two P250s in a pistol round can bring. You can win those long-range duels against the USPS. You can actually challenge the USP in long range, which is something that you can't really do with a Glock. And that's why it's usually used on the mid to long range areas of, for example, Overpass, on long and on that short angle. Very nice use of that. Now AC's on a 1v3. He's definitely won 1v3s before, but not this time around.
Very, very close there. Whew. AZ just forcing the situation, maybe overpeaking a little bit there. If he was able to fight behind the dice box, could have controlled that a bit more and tried to win it out that way. But even in the open duel, he comes very close to just outright winning the 1v3. So props to him for that. But at the end of the day, Red Reserve still come out on top of the situation and will now be able to push ahead with the lead.
Pistol round in the bag. 3 AKs, 2 UMP spot up. And North deciding to go for a very light setup, making sure that they have enough utility for when things get really serious, or maybe to make sure they can have a few deagles in the next round as well. But won't start off great. We'll lose HP on Kirby, who's the only armored player this time around.
Pretty going to be forced back there a little bit. He throws the molly down, wasn't feeling confident enough to go in and take full control of Connector just yet. Leave that up to Brolon and the rest of the team that's going for short control right now. Only Mert sitting in there to defend this, so not a whole lot to fear, but at the same time, it is a CZ at close range, so that alone is something to fear. He'll decide to play to the top of the steps, though. Just try to watch both angles at once. And besides that, it's actually a pretty passive round from North. They're not really pushing out from B in any sense, kind of holding some close angles towards Construction and Monster, but that's about as aggressive as they get down there. And besides Mertz's position, there is no one pushed out from the A site whatsoever. And
it's the right play, because what Red Reserve are doing right now, and what they usually do on these T rounds where they know they have a big advantage, is that they're going to use their utility to take map control. That's why all the Molotovs go down. Mertz will try to get in and get a peek. Doesn't work out this time around. And now they have full control over Connector. They have full control of short. They have one guy moving along towards A as well. So they have easy pickings. If the guy walks into B and dies, that's going to be the full-on push onto A then for the T team.
North going for a bit of a gamble here, hoping that it pays out into their favor. Freddy, of course, taking that water control, having to spam a little bit, so he did get blinded. Still, it's relatively easy, again, because of that very passive setup we've seen from North. Now, Red Reserve are not leaving themselves a whole lot of time to execute, so they're going to have to go into B, and they're going to have to dive straight into this 4-man setup from North. They will not have time to change this around. Great flash on the opener, but Valde isn't able to find anything. Oh my goodness, AZ and Kirby also falling too. It's down to just MSL now. Has got an AK, he's going to try his best to stop this, but it won't happen, and Red Reserve will pick up their second round.
They can't really win those duels, but the right decision made by MSL and the boys to sit on the bomb side. Like usually, if you stack on the bomb side for the first 40 seconds and you see nothing, a lot of teams will say, okay, probably going to rotate around, and then they're going to be caught in the mid-rotation. MSL and the boys just sit tight, wait for the push to come, was the right call, but just couldn't hit the shots.
Back into the fight now, we will go. Red Reserve, of course, having them a relatively, or it should be anyway, a relatively easy round in front of them, but once again, North is going to stack it, so we are going to have a little bit of a contest at least. North is trying to go for more aggressive control towards Construction this time, but it will fight against them because they just end up getting flanked with that 3-man stack. And once again, Red Reserve run them over for the most part. They'll lose Brolon along the way, but they can easily eat up that death via the next round, and there's the win bonus that they got there. So a quick 3-0 start is now claimed by the Red Reserve, and we'll be getting into the first gun round.
This round that we just saw is one of the great examples of why that short Molotov you can throw from T-spawn is so important, because they were going to rush all the way from short onto water and then push them from the tunnel. That didn't happen because of that Molotov. There was no utility to put it out, and then all the CTs were just stuck like, oh, okay, we can't go short, then we're just stuck on the site. And then everyone tried to find site rotations, but as that happened, the Ts came rushing in and won all those duels very easily, apart from the one that they lost. That's only 1 out of 5, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Brolon specifically is going to get an easy time pushing himself forward for short control here. But as Hampus then ended up in the initial battle for Monster, a little bit of an exchange between the players on opposite sides of the smokes, I believe, and Hampus very much comes out on the losing end of that, only surviving with 1 HP.
Mertz is also in the glass cannon this time around, and a lot of these players are missing utility on the CT side of things. No kits either, so yes, Hampus is low, but I would still say slight advantage for the Red Reserve guys.
Specifically, again, we do have everyone from Red Reserve lined up on short control here. The only exception being Disco Doppelin downstairs, and they've also got Hampus going on a lone mission for long control. So far, the Red Reserves are relatively unsuccessful in getting the control they need to get onto the site. But that could change now. Brolon spawning out MSL. He's trying to get aggressive from within the site. But Kirby still had a strong position forward by the bathrooms. It was able to knock out another player. Mertz, looks away at just the wrong moment there, but thankfully Hampus is able to control it anyway. That could have gotten bad. And now with that kill against Hampus, sadly it is looking like Red Reserve may have lost the message a little bit here as they're going to try to push in from short. North have given them the room they need to get into the site, but the actual execution is still going to be difficult. Disco Doppler will go 1 for 1. Brolan look like he may suffer from the same. Just goes right for the plant due to the lack of time. And Kirby will be able to push out. Doesn't deny the plant, but he does get a quick kill, and that will be obviously a very quick retake for North as they claim their first round.
Yeah, Kirby just saving teammates left, right, and center. His teammate gets pressured on to short, he comes in with a smoke kill. His teammate gets pressured, like Mertz scopes away and calls the information, says you got to help me out. He takes that frag, and he plays the defensive angle as well to get that bomb, or kill on the bomb planter and defuse it in the end. Very nicely done.
Being the star of the show here a little bit. Racking up all the frags that are needed to shut down the situation. And now for the Red Reserve. Plenty of money, at least for the rebuy, since they had relatively clean anti-ecos, taking it nice and slow, and even amongst the somewhat chaotic stacks that we had from North and the B site, still managed to push their way past that with pretty much no issues. So Red Reserve built up a good amount of money. They've got at least this rebuy. They'll probably be pushing it a bit if they try to force it on the next round, if they outright lose this one with no saves. But if they lose the round early, we'll say, might still have a chance to save a couple of rifles here. But actually, it's going to be the players from North that overcommit to Connector and lose 2 of their own at the beginning of the round.
I was about to say this could be a very interesting round for North because Mertz has a full AWP setup. He can play aggressively towards short. They decide to commit 2 guys towards the execute, or not the execute, the connector. But then again, like, that doesn't really do much sense if you can't hit the shots in that duel. Like, 2 guys going in, double nade setup as well. 1 guy dies first, the secondary comes in to do the refrag, and both of them just die. The only thing they do is once again they take a player down to 1 HP, and that's just not enough.
So Red Reserve just continuing to play slow though. Mertz missing a great opportunity to find a good trade here finally. Like about losing his own life. And now the problem is Freddy B's already got a site control. He's going to be able to walk straight forward, knock out Mertz. Valde at least catches him while he's still trying to set up utility. Even Valde's in a bit of a hot spot here. AZ will jump into the fight too, so North may not be done fighting just yet. They've evened it up into a 2v2, but Twist responds, gets that long position to be able to knock out Valde. And now AZ sits alone with only 19 HP to play off, 13 HP, excuse me. And Brolan will take him down, finally completing that round for the Red Reserve.
Brolan, after taking initial damage, able to sustain and stay alive with 1 HP. Nicely done by him, and nicely done by Red Reserve in general. You can see the cracks in North right now, and those cracks have been visible for a long time now. It's still not a perfect team. Yes, they're good, but they're missing some things, and it's showing right now on Overpass. 41 for Red Reserve. Economy looking strong. They got the op on Twist. Everyone has almost full setup. And North, on the other side of things, forced to 3 C-sets, 1 Deagle, and a single USP on Mertz was saving for the op.
So it's going to be just a little bit of utility this time coming in from North, which means they do have to play a bit more cheeky this time. That is going to lead us into seeing things like that little bit of a boost up that we have to get them vision in from the bathroom window. See what else they're trying to try. Basically just a 3-man stack down towards B, which is relatively standard. So North not trying anything too crazy just yet. Not getting hyper aggressive in this situation either. In fact, playing it relatively passive on everywhere except for that short stack.
Yeah, 2 players towards water for North is a very common position. When you have those C-sets, water is such a strong position on the B bomb side. Usually it also gets Molotov and flashed out, but let's see. Execute comes in now for Red Reserve.
Red Reserve are even taking the Execute relatively safely as well. Big smoke line to give them access in from Monster without really any risk of being spotted out here. And there we go. Valde finding 1 trade, but besides that, Kirby manages to catch 1 too. But besides that, it's pretty much just a walk-in for the Red Reserve. And now the 2 remaining players from North, specifically Kirby, are now going to be forced out of this situation. Kirby's going to have to fall back to save. Mertz gets himself a rifle finally there too. He was looking for one for a while, but he does finally pick it up. It looks like both are just going to fall back and save.
2 AK saved. That's not too bad. The problem is, right now, everything is going the way of Red Reserve. They're getting all the rounds. Mertz has still not gotten a single kill. And yes, we're early into the game, but he's had 2 rounds already with the AWP, and I expect him, every single time he has an op, I expect Mertz to get a kill.
He's had a couple good opportunities to hit shots too, like one specifically outside of the... All right, calm down. That's the, that's the low-hanging fruit right there.
Yes, that's the only fruit I go for.
That's the unavoidable one. But yeah, he had a couple good opportunities, did some shots. Just wasn't really on point with that.
Yeah, and that's very strange compared to how he played on Nuke, because I felt like almost every single shot he hit on Nuke was very like tight, on point. Everything was good.
Yeah.
Laser beam, AWP, but This time around doesn't really work out.
This is not scary for
just
Hampus with that X-ray on. Jeez.
Yeah.
Someone could jump out of those smokes at any second.
Someone just go into his console and disable X-ray. That's not fair. Once again, the short Molotov comes in to deny early presence. Aggressive from the CT side, which will allow Disco Doppler to push in. Let's see if he go for the boost peak. He will, and Kirby goes down. Very common boost position. There's basically two you got to look out for, and this is the secondary one. Disco Doppler knows exactly where to aim and takes a duel. Yes, he will lose HP, but that's one mad difference that makes a lot.
The trade was found by Mertz, though, a few moments later, so at least it's kept things even down into a 4v4. But still, in terms of the control right now, Red Reserve is going to be trying to move in from short again, I do believe. After a little bit of delay, though, still plenty of time left in the round. Red Reserve kind of went pretty quickly for that water control, leading up to construction to be able to, of course, get that peak on the boosted players that were inside of the B site, knocking out Kirby, which led to the trade for Mertz a few seconds later.
Hampus making his way slowly but surely with the rest of his team, and they have more than enough utility to make this happen. Valdez's jump spotting will be taken out by Freddy B, and that's never going to work. Mertz coming in from the back, though, and this might be successful.
It's would have great if they still had Valde in the site, but sadly with his loss, it's an open book right now for Red Reserve just to walk right in and find a plan. AZ obviously can't really do much in terms of an active hold with only a Deagle in hand. Mertz, though, getting away with quite an expensive item right there, finding himself an op on the ground to play off, which could be used for the retake too. I have a bad feeling that if AZ goes down, that they might call for a save, and he's going to be put into a very hot situation. Mertz missing another close-up shot as well. And with the death of AZ, MSL tries to sneak in. He is also torn apart by Hampus, leaving just Mertz alive now, who will more than likely have no choice but to fall out towards long and save the op.
This is a hard call. Let's see if Mertz can survive this. Red Reserve, they know what's at stake right now. Only 48 HP, so we'll have to get a bit away from the bomb. I feel like he's secure that location. And the terrorists are checking T-spawn because they assume that he will go that way. That's not the case. This was a strange round, right? Because they're retaking, they have 3 players alive, the CT side. Mertz has an AK, finds the op, drops the AK over to himself, so they can technically save an AK and an op. Then a 3v, 3 or 4 retake? That's really, really hard to do. So the call comes in, and the call is to go for it. MSL is so far up on long. And yeah, hindsight is of course 20/20, but that seems to be at least like a 50-50 call. That could have easily gone the other way and be successful as well, getting 2 weapons safe. But I think North at this point, they just feel like they have to get around on the board. Mertz still not hitting shots. There we go. Finally, the curse is broken. Brawlin is taken down, but the problem is there's still great players around for Disco Doppler and the rest of Red Reserve to go ahead and do things like that, taking out AC.
Well, the curse stay broken as well here, because like we said before, Mertz has had a couple other shots so far in the series, but in this map specifically, it's been relatively inconsistent, so let's hope he can keep it together, at the very least for this round, not for the rest of the map. Reserve, for the most part, have gone incredibly passive, though, after they've taken a disadvantaged position here. Hampus and Roland, the only 2 that have gone down so far, but now they're just going to try to lurk themselves into the bomb site. Twist! Good positioning and good movement as well here, because he moves in just when the bullet fire is going off. Sadly, Valde is just as good at trading them both back by knocking out Twist, and 1 more on top of that. Leaving only Freddy, who Valde will handle as well, giving him a nice, solid 3K. Great hold from inside of those toxic barrels, and finally, as well, giving North a 2nd round.
And then Valde baiting out his teammate in that situation pays off. Like, if he gotten 0 frags, the other guys would probably be okay. That's not okay for the next time around. But he gets a 3K and wins the round off it, so it makes out. It's also perfect timing from the C side. It's very hard not to play that kind of position he's playing because he's just waiting. He's probably calling it to his teammate as well, but having an aggressive angle sometimes can be dangerous on CT side.
So we've got Red Reserve taking connector control early on here. Not to the fullest extent just yet, but that is going to be their opening priority, along with, of course, Disco Doppler getting himself inside of construction and having access to that as well. But after the control of connector, it looks like they're also going to play around with short a little bit here, just a kind of slow takeover of the map, which, again, North, for the most part, hasn't really been contesting, besides an occasional push on short, like what we have right now for Mertz. Oh my goodness. That situation really could not have gone worse for North right there. Twist gets the knockout on Kirby. Mertz only gets a leg in response.
Not a good start. Twist still with 16 HP, but he has an op, so being on 16 HP doesn't really matter that much because he still has to hit that first shot to survive almost every single duel. A big advantage for the Swedes right now. North are not at the ropes just yet, but this is becoming a problem.
Red Reserve are just going to continue to play it nice and slow. North, because of the loss of Kirby, have taken a very passive position on the B-bomb site. It's really just one or two of their players holding it right now. With a quick option for Valley to rotate down, I believe, when she's done now, since there's a little bit of utility getting chucked in. But still, I don't think this is going to be enough. The track record here for North has not been that great. 1-to-1 trade, now 2-to-1 against them, is definitely not going to help.
Yeah, now with the Molotov pushing Mertz out, yes, he will get that one frag, but will burn in the fire. So MSL now in a 1v3 knows that at least one of them are low from information from his teammates, but decides to say, yeah, I'm not going to go for it either. 15 HP on the account. Probably the wiser choice to save, and he is correct in this scenario.
Red Reserve are going to continue to shoot ahead. A massive lead being built up by them right now. Currently going to be 5 rounds in their favor in just a second, as they will most certainly be picking up that number 7 here. Bomb blows up. North fallen flat all of a sudden. A great performance on Nuke, really across the board from a majority of their players. But this time here on Overpass, we're not seeing anyone get off to a good start.
This is also the difference in Red Reserve. Like, Nuke, they have a 25% win rate on. This map here, of course, on Overpass, 69.2. This is definitely a map they prefer much more than Nuke. So it's pretty clear that, like, in the veto process, we almost discussed, like, some teams have so, like, for example, Astralis' map pool is so deep that they don't really have, like, a map. They have a lot of maps. This has been really, really, like, a good example of North picking their map, Red Reserve picking their map, and this is the difference we're seeing. So we might actually have a chance of ending up on a third one, because so far I haven't really seen a lot, especially on the CT side. It might change on the T side, but not a lot from North that is kind of convincing me that they can actually take this 2-0. Not looking promising.
Well, they do manage to go through their pause relatively quickly here, so we're going to be getting back into the action. We'll see where they are in terms of a buy as well. They are in a bit of a crossroads. I think this should be an eco coming up from them. So, oh no, it is a 4-cent actually. They're going to go pretty heavily into this round, despite not being able to get the best buy out of it. They got the op from Mertz. It's going to be a glass cannon op as well. And besides that, only 1 and 4, 2 umps, and even a CZ on AZ. So they are definitely stretching their money just to be able to buy here. And again, not the greatest start from Mertz. Tries to lurk forward, but is just spotted out by Hampus. So they give away that op in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, and that was what I was talking about early on. Like, Mertz really likes to peek aggressively on this map onto short. Kirby tries to steal it away, but doesn't matter. To be taken out as well. But when you try to peek aggressively round after round after round and it doesn't work out, you have to change the way you play the map. Like, they're simply not, like, they pre-nade him this time around. They have the positions ready, so they know exactly what they're dealing with Mertz playing that aggressive op. So now he has to change it around, maybe even switch positions and play a more stationary AWP towards long A, because the aggressiveness is not working out. Like, Red Reserve, they got his number right now.
AZ still looking to try and sneak forward in the bathrooms and look for really anything that they can get to try and maybe swing this round back in the other direction, but it may already be too far gone. They do have actually a pretty nice pinch against the current Red Reserve roster, because they've got almost everybody sitting inside of Connect right there. 3 of their players are inside of it, and if North time this properly, they could do some damage. I do feel like it's not going to work out that way. Valde picks up 2 from the outside. AZ finds the trade, however. Now he's got an AK to play with, so he's got a 1v2 set in front of him, but he's got to watch that alt tunnel. Still had the bomb carrier watching out for it, so AZ will dive right back in, and oh my god, just knocks out Disco Doppler with a quick 180 flick. The crucial mistake that he obviously couldn't realize, though, was that Twist was still on the outside through the out tunnel with an up.
And he's reading it perfectly, I think.
Let's see. Oh, yes, AZ. This is incredible.
Might go for the upper peak. And that might be his demise.
I think he's holding it heaven right now just to hold a midpoint. But now obviously he's seen the molly go down. He's heard the bomb plant, so he's going to draw full attention to the upper site here. And it's all about the 1v1. Oh my goodness, Twist takes the fight, but it doesn't matter as AZ pulls off a massive turnaround.
What a turnaround from AZ. That was insane. The way that his movements and that flashbang coming in towards the bomb site, that looked magical.
Even gets the denial on the plant by forcing Twist into the battle early on there. So it starts off with this, and let's of course give credit to Valde too for the nice hold at the bottom. Picks up the 2K that starts all this chaos to begin with, but it's AZ that seals the deal and comes out with the massive 1v3 clutch.
AZ's plus 10 so far in this match right now, frag-wise. On a 159 rating over Nuke and of course here on Overpass. Looking very solid. North with another timeout. Gonna try and stabilize. They only have 2 remaining, so probably not going to see any more on this side of things. This is probably the last timeout on their CT side.
This one more, I think, of a discussion of what went wrong in that round, because that seemed like it was relatively planned out. Oh, also, here's the other problem, too, I just realized, too, is that their money still is not in a good spot, even with winning that last round in the way that they did, so they're still kind of on a scrap buy, so I imagine they probably had to plan out this round a bit, too.
Yeah, and also because they know that the money's low on the red reserve as well, so the discussion was, do we want to try to punish it and like take a lot of risks ourselves, or do we want to play it conservatively? And they're going to go for the risk.
Mertz getting a quick trade after Kjerby's lost it long early on in the round. Brings us pretty much immediately into a 4v4 as soon as the round begins. Red Reserve still going to play for that short control. This time, however, their lack of control over here towards water leads to Valde getting an early pick, which will again now be traded by Brolan. So they're keeping things even once more as we're brought down to a 3v3.
Smoke on short. Mertz is holding the tight angle, headshot angle, but will not hit that first shot. Bomb on the back of Twist. Slowly but surely making its way into toilets.
MSL's got good intel too, can pretty much confirm that it's going to be an A take more than likely unless they dive down through connector. So he'll just slowly continue to push forward and I imagine work towards a crunch from the connector itself as time gets lower and lower. It is more than likely we see this A play happen.
One player on the T side still being on the back foot of it.
Yeah.
Almost a T spawn.
That's why I'm still kind of leaning in the fact that they could go down connector and maybe go for a B play here. I think Red Reserve are still discussing it themselves and probably are leaning a bit more heavily towards the B play, which, as we look at the minimap, is probably going to be the correct play to make. But at the same time, MSL could throw this completely out of whack if he picks one of them off.
Oh, he definitely hears this flashbang.
Does he know where it came from, though?
He knows.
There we go. Moves in and finds Brolan, so he takes him down. It doesn't matter, though, as the two remaining Red Reserve players are going to storm into the B site. They do find it relatively open. Freddy B has to go on an immediate watch for the flank, though, which means that the CTs that are moving in through main are going to have free access to the site.
No utility on either team right now. One is spotted at water. Nice shot from Mertz, finally hitting the shots. This time around with the scout. Freddy B all alone, 1v3. Does pick up the first one, goes for the second. Will be taken out by Mertz. AK in hand. A couple of kills for him. And a round for North.
Tried to go for a quick wrap, I believe, at the end there, over towards construction to re-entry the site. Just doesn't work out. He's not able to escape that quickly, so North shut it down. And finally, seemingly anyway, seem to be getting some traction going.
Mertz, he needs confidence. He's one of those players, also very characteristic as a solid AWPer. You need confidence to be able to perform, and right now, he's had some problems hitting those shots, but hopefully this can bring him back, because in order to have an entertaining game, we need to have Mertz on that level. We need to have Red Reserve on the level right now, but I feel like they're performing okay on this T side so far. Mertz has been a bit lower than we expected, but with this round, surely he's going to be back.
Bit of a passive standoff in the open here because Red Reserve isn't as active with their map controls before, and while North are all of a sudden going to bring themselves back alive too with their more active activity here and their aggressive activity too. Seeing towards short.
Almost out of timing.
Yeah, Bert's getting the spot there early on, but it's a bit awkward, so they both end up backing away from the engagement. However, look at this. Kjerby moving in, and what's that little boost up on top there? It's going to have to be destacked relatively quickly, though, because of all the chaos going on short. It would have been nice to see how that would have played out, though.
2 Deagles remain. Surely this one is going to be very hard to win for Red Reserve. Hoping for them to pull out a miracle, though. Brolan with the Deagle, we saw him on Nuke. He can still make magic happen. Disco dropping the exact same. And there is magic through the smoke.
Just locking onto the tracers right there and then finding himself the trade. Nicely picked up. But of course, it's only a small part of what they need to bring this round back under their control. Valde taking the next duel, and with Brolan being eliminated upstairs just a few moments ago, Valde will seal the deal, securing a 5th round for North.
5 rounds on the board. It seems like North has stabilized a bit. Mersh just straight through the smoke with that spray. Goes for a second one as well. And yeah, now surely the confidence is back.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine it seems like it's like a pretty major factor actually for North, because at the beginning of the game they were just missing what should have been some pretty straightforward shots for them, and I feel like the confidence is a little bit of a part of it. They're not really feeling about it themselves, but now they're winning rounds. They got the momentum going in their favor, and all of a sudden that's gone. So Easy also tested very early on here as Red Reserve try to go back to the more aggressive playstyle that we also saw utilized on Nuke a little bit, but AZ gets the better of it to start things off. However, actually over pushes a bit from the barrels, and even worse, MSL was caught on the flank, and Freddy B's going to continue to cut these players off. Red Reserve just tear through the entire North lineup and go back into taking control as Mertz is now put into an impossible 1v4.
Yeah, this round was a great example of one of the problems that North are dealing with, which is consistency. being able to perform at the same level and win the same duels every single round. Some rounds, we see the momentum come in, the confidence, you're taking crazy duels, you're winning crazy duels, taking duels through a smoke. And then in this round, you get executed on, and no one can seem to win their 1v1 man duel. And that's a big problem going into wanting to be a top 10 or even better team in the world. You got to be able to be consistent in these rounds. And North are not there yet. They're working their way to get there eventually. But at this point, I wouldn't say they're there yet.
Hampus gets caught on the way out, so at least a little bit more damage done by Mertz at the end of the round, but it is a relatively small gesture once again. Red Reserve back in control of the lead. Now with an 8th round on the board, they have it guaranteed at halftime at the very minimum. North should be reset more than likely too. We'll see how much money they had left over from the win streak that they had. Oh, but it does look like they're going to call for their 3rd pause, still all within the first half as well.
Interesting.
And they do get a little bit of money. We at least get a peek at the buy, so they're able to get a pretty full buy at the very minimum there.
And I could understand if Overpass was a map where they had maybe like a 55 to 60% like one of all their rounds on the T side, but this is a very balanced map for them. They're sitting around like 49-51 as a share between these two sides. So I wouldn't say their T side is that much more like in control than or like prepared as the CT side is. So interesting choice to go for this many pauses in the first half. Hopefully it's not going to come back to bite them. Maybe they also just feel like when they're on a T side they can control the pace a bit more. So CT side, they need to pull the pace out of the game when it's not going their way. That could be one of the reasons.
So before that, we are going to see North at least able to get a semi-decent buy up onto the board. Really just MSL and a sacrifice going down to a CZ. Everyone else getting themselves at least a rifle to play off of. While the Red Reserve still sticking with 5 AKs. No ops to be seen here. It's been a pretty rare sight actually so far throughout the course of the half. Mainly North just bringing it out occasionally. I think Red Reserve buying theirs once or twice. The opening part of the round, successful for North, but with Kirby getting knocked out, it's now going to fall to Mertz to try and pick up a couple trades from inside of the bathroom connector.
Kirby not looking good so far on Overpass, but luckily for him, Mertz and AC both are. Hampus trying to bring it back, but Mertz is ready to take the duel. We'll get the damage in, and we'll get the kill as well.
Great timing on the push from Mertz. Caught Hampus when he wasn't expecting it, so he's pretty much dead to rights right there. Freddy B's now left alone. He's still got a chance to at least get a plant, though, because look at how barren the B site is.
It's a 1v1 against Valde.
Yeah. So if he gets that, he's got the plant guaranteed, and he's probably got at least 10 to 15 seconds of post-plant freedom, too. So this would be a pretty big turnaround.
I think there's a rotation coming in now. Yeah, AC has rotated, and Valde has called, okay, let's just play 2-2. We know we're going to be 2 against 1, either bomb side he hits, if we play it that way.
So the hesitation will cost Freddy B potentially an easy ticket access to the B bomb site. Now he's continuing to just play the patient game here. Does have a smoke to try and utilize if he wants to cause a little bit of mischief here. Just waits patiently, and sadly misses his opportunity when it finally shows up. He spots the Heaven player at least as well. He's got good eyes on the positions of the CTs. Now he actually has to execute, and that's the difficult part, and that's where he'll fall. Mertz gets the last kill, and North find themselves another round.
Once again, just coming back into the game, not looking as stable as we saw on Nuke, but still racking rounds up and racking rounds together, and that's really what they want in this one. Like they want to make sure that yes, they get rounds on the board. Yes, they're behind, but it's not too big of a gap, and they can bridge that gap when they race to the T side, when they have more control over how the game is played, how the pace of the game is played. This one though will be a pistol force, so expect a lot of speed coming off of Red Reserve.
So Doplin going to try to move in quickly into the B-bomb site. AZ looking for a solid hold as well. Picks up only 1 for now, though, and Brolon wrapping around with just a CZ in hand finds some massive damage. MSL, the same story for him. He can only pick up 1 kill. So Red Reserve will take that fast control of the B site once again. Rotates already here from the CT site, but they've got to wait. They can't just rush right in. And the worst part is now Red Reserve have ironed themselves up completely. 2 AKs on Hampus and Brolon, and Twist has found that M4, so this is no longer an easy retake for them either.
Mertz, M4 in hand, trying to make it in there. Smoke should go down if they want to go for the retake. First peek is found.
Working together as well. They know someone's going to be hiding in that smoke, but they can't locate him, so Brolon stays alive. They assume it's clear. He moves in for the trade. Kirby's down to the 1v1, only as the CZ. Knows he's in the corner, uses 3 bullets, tries to finish him off, but no! The round will go to Red Reserve.
Last time around they played on Overpass, it was 9-6 for North on their CT side. This time around it's 6-9, so a difference of 3 rounds since the 2-week-old result at Star Series. So an improvement on this map for Red Reserve, and that's what they needed after being demolished on Nuke. Nice from Brolin this time around, just hiding in the smoke after getting the initial 2K, and then just playing this one perfectly. Even pre-spraying the corner, very nicely done.
Brawlon really getting away with a lot there in that round too. Just the walk-in where he picked up those 2 kills, that was pretty massive in itself. So good stuff from him to be able to do that. North needing to patch that up and take a look at that, I imagine, for future games. It's a pretty crucial mistake on their part to let him get through that easily. Second half, guys, as you can see, going to be starting in just a couple of seconds. And for North, I think it's one that they need to start off well, or could be looking at a quick defeat here. Yeah,
they need this pistol at this point. Also just to re-establish some dominance, to make sure that they can keep on pushing, they can scare their opponents, they can play confident, but also just to tie up to 9-9. See, this is still a game about kills in rounds, and there's all this other stuff behind it, but you still need to get rounds and you still need to get kills to win it. It's going to be 2 smokes, 1 Molotov, 1 flashbang on the T side, so definitely have a very specific execute in mind. 1 player towards B, the rest situated towards A, but Hamp is already peeking out aggressively towards long, will be shut down completely, gets nothing out of it.
Gonna be just basically overwhelmed in that situation by the 3-man push out long. More than that are gonna be joining up with them here in a moment too, as North just go right through, take full on control. AZ doing some good work over here too, back at the alt tunnel, but sadly we'll still end up losing the engagement, despite the fact that he dinked Brawlon down to 4 HP.
This timing might be perfect for North coming in towards the bomb site. Might catch Red Reserve mid-rotation.
I think that's exactly what it's going to do. Brawlon still ready to take the fight, though, and Twist. It's actually the one that chimes in for the opening kill. A lot of spam damage going on, so I believe MSL. Brawlon walking right in, knocks out 1, tries to go for the cheeky knife right there. Won't be denied in that aspect, at least. Red Reserve now have the man advantage with that play, though. 3v2, just a matter of retaking, but Kirby's going to make it difficult. Valde trying to chain one up as well. He saw the drop down. Let's see a headshot from Valde is what we need, though. But it may just end up relying all on Kirby's. He got the second one recently against Twist. Disco tries to chase down Valde as he successfully escapes the site through Monster. Now, this in general just being a tough situation for Disco Doppelin. Might be able to isolate it into 2 separate 1v1s, but it does not end up happening. And we will see North close out and take control of the second half pistol.
Really fun 2v2 at the end because both of the Ts actually picked up USPSs. So we had mid to long range duels coming in all over the map. Kirby picking up those, and he's just on point. Like, the USPS just really suits the way that he aims very well. The fact that he can pick that up in a pistol T side round is perfect for him. CT side will be forcing up though, so we will see the Scout, the close range Deagle, the close range 5-7 as well as a UMP and Brawlon. So this is not an easy round for North in any shape, way, or form.
North are just going to take a pit stop over here once they get outside of Monster. For good reason, too. You can take a look and see just how aggressive Red are trying to be here. Not in an active sense, though, mainly just holding those positions. And the immediate utility that's tossed in from North is going to force them back inside of the pit and the depths of the water position outside construction as well.
Flashes raining in. Valde finding the first one. Going for secondary picks as well. Sees one up on Heaven, but pushes water. That's the way more important position to take out. Brawlon coming in from behind, though.
And they spot that, of course. He's not able to get anything going when he reveals himself, so it's pretty easy for North to reposition and make sure he can't get any further with that play. Just Disco Doppelin left, who is trying to sneak around, and I imagine contribute the push from Overpass right there.
Yeah, I always like when you're in this situation, Disco Doppelin, there's no way he's going to survive this. When you're on the T side, you know you have a weapons and utility advantage. Just go for a simple execute towards the quickest side you can. And just trying to bully your opponents. Actually, with 2 fractions. If you got 3 there, that would have been...
That's a throwback 5-7 play right there. You don't see those too often anymore.
I haven't seen a 5-7 3K in like...
I'm amazed he has the 5-7, I'm going to be honest, over the CZ. That's
kind of
a rare sight.
That's a gentleman move right now, like not playing the C set. I tip my hat to you.
But of course, diving back into it now. We'll still see North in control of the situation and a relatively easy round put in front of them with Red Reserve on a fully go, all USPSs, and 0 utility. So,
yeah, and very nice anti-eco setup from North. They know exactly what's going on. Ace is holding these 2 tunnels, just making sure that he can take long-range duels against anything that comes his way. The rest of the team locked behind that invisible line. And now, just now, after like 20 seconds, they're moving ahead. See if they can find something. Ace is just spraying down, gonna get 2 for his troubles. Brawlon will be able to pick up, or Freddy B actually will be able to pick up that AK-47. Could bring it into the next round.
Decent control from them to pick up the double kill at least, but no one else moved in quickly enough from North, so they did end up giving Freddy B the AK to play off of here. And it's looking like North are more than likely going to push towards the site too, so we'll see if that AK can do any damage now that's been scavenged and it's put into a good defensive position here. Brolon gets run over relatively quickly, but here we go. Now Freddy B's got a chance to find some impact with the AK. One pickup found for him. Hampus also gets a kill too, so we are even into a 2v2, but it quickly becomes a 2v1. Freddy looking for the clutch, and he comes very close to it. But a fast trade from Valde prevents the upset.
And this is the problem with the anti-eco 4-1 split. Like, if the CTs push and your one alone player doesn't get more than everyone who's pushing him, they're going to be able to pick up that AK. And yes, it's just an AK, but in the hands of, for example, Freddy B, we saw how much damage that could do. That was one player left alive on the T side, so yes, they win the round, but the economy won't grow that much off of it. So they're buying fully up into this one, but the economy behind this isn't as good. If they lose this completely, the force buy in the next one is going to be very hard, but Roland pushing in 1 for 1.
Very ballsy play from him right there, as he knew he was going to have at least 2 to 3 players sitting in there, more than likely.
Interesting choice to go for like a 1v1 duel with no one to refrag him.
Quite literally, there's no one even close to him.
Like, he's all on his own in that scenario.
So he just throws his life away in that situation there, but at least, again, like I said before, gets a little bit of intel. Not much you can act on, sadly.
No, because they were so far back. Like, you have no idea where they're going. This is just a normal, like...
It's like in the first 10 seconds of the round, too.
Exactly.
So it's like I said, not a lot to act off of, sadly, but at the very least does guarantee a 1-for-1 trade. But even that plays into the favor of the T's to a certain degree.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a questionable play. Unless someone called him to do that, I'm gonna doubt that.
So we're gonna have North just go for a direct push. The good news is, though, is they don't have anyone along to spot this 2-man setup from Red Reserve here, so they could maybe surprise a little bit. At least the second man might be able to, but they're aware of it. Very active defense being put up here from North once they get into the site. Man, Valde just goes off. A quick 180 to find his second kill against Hampus there, and that itself should be the end of the round. Yeah. Twist and Freddy B, I imagine, are going to poke in a little bit to see if they can get a kill or two, but if they don't immediately get anything, they will probably also immediately call for the fallback. And MSL is going to have a bit of a surprise. Hello there. Finds himself a quick pickup against Twist, and that will say goodbye to Freddy B, as now he has 0 chance to retake. Yeah,
Valde's like timing of those 2 peaks was like insane. The one he comes out with long, the flash comes in from his teammate that pretty much wins him the duel. Straight up kill. Then he 180s this, like the second that the other player pops his head off on top of that dumpster, and he gets the third one as well. Valde on point right now.
Hate to see that, Freddy B. Just gets spammed through the smoke, thought he was nice and safe. Not the case. North going on a rampage there to prevent any saves.
Nice from Valde.
Yeah, it's earned right there.
Good stuff from him. Let's see this 180 again. That's the flashbang kill. Turnaround, on point.
Like you said, the timing was just too perfect. It's the immediate spot on a player pushing out from dumpster and is ready to take the fight as well. So really great stuff there, really proactive stuff. Like I said, the timing working out for him a little bit there, but still takes some skill to control the situation with the master way that he did.
Freddy B, Desert Eagle in hand, just waiting around the corner. No one's looking that way right now. Maybe he'll have a chance of surprising Kirby. Fingers crossed for him, surely. He's just holding the angle right now. He's not going to push.
Not going to have a repeat of last round.
Nah. you don't.
Even though it would make more sense to do it on this round.
Yeah.
Considering you don't really have much.
Oh, Disco Domino once again the hero with a 5-7. Brawler comes in the back as well, but 2 for 2. But Freddy B finally, at long, gets that headshot onto Mertz this time around. And a 1-man advantage for the CT side.
Waits for the perfect opportunity and Freddy B finally pounces. Gets that really crucial kill that guarantees them a man advantage. And now is, of course, going to cause North to play incredibly slowly, too, which could also work out into their favor. However, Twist. Oh, there we go. Should be easy for him. And it knocks out Valde to bring it all down to just AZ. Gonna have a nasty surprise himself if he doesn't check for it here. Hampus still waiting over here by the toxic barrels. He checks for it, but Hampus moved at the perfect time, too, to catch him off and guarantee that final kill, giving a round to the Red Reserve. And I believe that was their first round on CT side as well.
Game all tied up now. And after a quick couple of good rounds from North, Red Reserve will bounce back, and that's what they need to keep this going. They need to make sure that North don't run away with it. They need to make sure that they're not confident, taking a pause right now to keep them off the momentum, maybe even get them to discuss a little bit internally, like what went wrong in that round, maybe get a little angry. Nasu, the coach, of course, behind them, legendary Finnish player, helped this team grow from, as they said on the desk, the leftovers from the Swedish scene coming into now a team with some sort of form or shape instead of just like 5 players playing individual 1v1 duels.
So that was Lurpus' brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like
Covenant brothers.
Yeah, it looks like him. That's why I was curious.
Nasu and Lupus. For like the longest time, I thought Nasu and Natu were brothers.
I know, that would make way more sense.
I think everyone who didn't follow 1.6 religiously would probably be in that situation. But it's actually the other way around.
Both Finnish as well. So.
Yeah, that trio, like Natu, Nasu, and Lupus, that was the powerhouse back in the days. They had this weird like team name, which was like 69.59 degrees or something like that. The team name was like coordinates for something.
Interesting.
It's really interesting.
Oh.
Let's see.
North pretty much throwing themselves at the will of the B site this round, and it doesn't pan out at all.
Shut
Only about
down.
20 damage done to Freddy B. Besides that, is a flawless hold from the Red Reserve.
That's a tough one for North because they just wanted to get in there and say, yeah, let's get a frag or two, let's do damage to their economy, and they do 20 damage in the round. That's perfectly played. Very nice defense from Red Reserve. Now in the lead with 1 round. This is where they need to keep on pushing. Like this is where if they take this round, force another eco come out of North, potentially sit at 13, they might have a chance to take this to map 3, but Mertz and Twist, that duel could be imminent.
Besides this, big stack of North players still trying to take control from the playground, but they are sitting back for a little bit since Red Reserve has been a tad more aggressive than they were back on CT side here, so they're being a little bit more cautious of any pressure against them from long or other avenues that they could push out, like from the bathrooms as well as another option here. I can see Brolon is already propped up to do that. But Red Reserve have Twist actually holding towards long, and he's holding it aggressively too. Sees the flashbang.
Yeah, he's ready for the flashbang right now.
Gets hit by it regardless, however, so he's going to have to fall back.
Wow. Yeah, you can see that he wanted to react off that flashbang, but MSL reacts though. Brolin taken out, and you would assume Brolin to win a direct 1v1 between him and MSL. Not this time around though.
So that's both initial aggressive contacts. The Red Reserve tried to take it with long and short, failing for the most part. Twist gets flashed out and is forced back to the site, and Brolin just dies.
And once more, like Brolin who goes into a 1v1 with no refrag potential from any teammates. There's no one close by, and the only one close by has an orb, so can't really rotate in that fast. I'm not sure if that's just the way they play it. Let's wait a second.
Well, Freddy B is going to be caught pushing forward as well. Just a chain of unfortunate events for the Red Reserve here right now. Hop is going to do his best to flip the situation, but is blinded out, so we can only find that initial kill before being traded by MSL just in the open there by Water.
Yeah, and Twist has to retake with an AWP if he wants to. I don't think that's going to be the play anyway. Disco Doblin, he's in a dangerous position. I would highly advise him getting out of there.
He's going to do that. Backing away, leading more than likely to the save in a couple of seconds here, as his teammate Twist is still pretty much long gone back of an A, and they're just going to hold in that site, I think, because they know that there's still probably a little bit of presence towards long, so that's not necessarily the safest avenue to go towards.
Twist, let's see how many he can take with him if they decide to push for him. Still, of course, wants
I think North is expecting the same thing. I think North is expecting them to push out long, so that's why they're holding there.
With their economy, I'm pretty sure they can afford to lose one of these AKs to 100. Let's see. They're actually not going to go for it. They're just going to hold the ankles. Okay. Playing it conservatively. That can work out.
The money for North is actually not that great, so that's probably
really?
why.
Okay.
Yeah, they're...
I thought they had money to rebuy one.
Start of this round, they were sitting at about a couple $100 a player, basically.
Okay.
So.
No worries then. Then that is their correct choice. I was sure one of them had like 1,000 or 1,500, but apparently that was not enough.
I want to say it was about 600. So.
Maths are hard, man. Roland, once again, pushing. 2 players behind him right now. So potentially have changed something in the setup. And they will leave Twist on short with the AWP. AC just looking for the boost spot, but no one peeking his way around. This is a nice little gap in the smoke. Just for the CTs, they see the smoke and they just assume, okay, nothing is there. We can hold the boost position, and that's where AC just comes in and just shuts them down. Will not happen this time around, though. Mertz moving in, but Twist is nowhere to be found nearby. Cabby will be flashed in.
And it's going to be open for the taking. First point of contact that North would really have to worry about is right here when they push past flower pots. Red Reserve are going to try something a little bit more interesting this time with a 2-man stack in the corner. But then if the first one falls, the second one catches them off guard, and actually Disco Doppelin just going to take the initiative on his own. Yeah. Pushes forward and finds a free kill on the Kirby. He does have to deal with the long pressure, though.
The second he hears / sees that smoke, like he knows he can push it with no chance of getting refrag Disco Goblin with another one that's AC shut down as well. Mertz, Valde, and MSL need to do something, but Twist is on the side, and he's on point with his ult.
These need to be really clean entries, and that's not the way you want to start it off. Twist is getting a free pick on Mertz. Valde next up on the pad, and whoa! Twist on top of the dice box. A couple hops to get there. He'll take out MSL to finish off the round.
On point, Blue. On point.
Beautiful.
And that's the Twist we need to see in this matchup. We need to see some kind of counter to Mertz when he is hitting the shots. And this is exactly what's happening right now. Twist even goes for the aggressive jump peek onto MSL and shuts him down completely.
He's been playing some KZ recently.
Even Laundry's just hopping around.
yeah. And North, after a round like that, are going to choose to take their last tack pause, which is actually a pretty rare sight these days to see teams using all 4 of them.
I'm interested to see if, let's say, we go to a 13-13 scenario and North will be on an eco, if they're going to take the good old Swedish eco and actually just stand in spawn because they're out of pauses. Like if they have an eco round that doesn't really matter that much, then stand in spawn for like 45 seconds and actually discuss. Because at DreamHack, the rule is that the coach can still talk while the run is going on. That's not the way it is at other tournaments. I really like this from DreamHack, trying to say, okay, our tournament format is a bit different from yours. We have some bit different rules. Maybe North will take advantage of that now that they've spent all their time as well. We'll still have to wait and see, of course.
For those of you that don't remember, back in mid-2016, Valve made a change to disallow coaches from speaking because there was a trend in the community where coaches were, in a certain sense, becoming the IGL for a lot of teams, and apparently Valve didn't like that. So Valve made a rule change to their majors. Most of the tournament organizers followed suit. DreamHack, though, had different thoughts.
I think it's really important to have some tournaments that offer just slight differences.
I didn't mind it. Like I got Valve's argument. I personally still didn't mind it though.
Oh yeah, I mean, here we go, eco push coming in from North, slow and steady, just walking in. But Hyper surely will be ready for this.
This is really bringing it down to the wire from North here. They are trying to go as far as they can before they reveal. The problem is, they are just sitting ducks in that situation if someone does spot them. Hoppus, great control to pick up 3. Looking for number 4. He'll get it. Let's see an ace. Come on. A few more shots, and there it is. The headshot on AZ. He shuts it all down.
The good old crab walk contact play towards B. Been a couple of years since I've seen that, but it's still like, it's a full eco for North. Maybe they actually did spend some time in this round talking about like, okay, what are we gonna do? Yes, we had the timeout just to iron out the last few things for the next buy because they need to get this buy. If they don't get this, I'm pretty sure Red Reserve might will run away with the mapping on Overpass. This is back against the wall for North right now. Yes, they're not on 15 just yet, Red Reserve, but economically, it's such an important round. Disco double and allowed to push aggressively. Might even get a double as well from this. Big mistakes in the North camp, allowing this to happen.
Gets that double. The trade is found, thankfully, quickly by Kirby, and he doesn't take a lot of damage from the engagement either, but it still put the team back down into a 3v4, and they have not had a very good track record of recovering from these disadvantaged situations. Red Reserve got kills early on like this. Oh man, that is a big mistake from Twist right there, though. Kirby just walks right in, goes past Twist's scoped in vision, and takes him out. Brawlon is there for a fast trade, though, so Red Reserve will keep their man advantage, and Freddy B can surprise from the right corner. AZ none the wiser to his position right there.
This is becoming a big problem right now for North. Red Reserve will be allowed on 14 unless Valde clutches this. Sees the first one and will be pushed out. That's why you have a secondary player after the first one comes in. Freddy B, take note.
Freddy B being so annoying in that round as well. Like, there's like 2 or 3 different situations where he just surprises people, and whoever was pushing for the T side on North had literally no clue that he was going to do that. So really good timing from him specifically, just to constantly catch these guys on North off guard.
Yeah, is this the good old Swedish eco?
Or is this them forgetting they had a limited amount of pauses? I feel like it's the latter.
Okay, interesting. 14-11 nonetheless is the scoreline. If you're just joining us, this is the best of 3. We already covered the first one. That was Nuke. That went to North. This is the map choice of Red Reserve, and they're now 2 rounds away from tying us up and going to the third one, which will be Mirage as well. Also a map that these 2 have played against each other before.
It was interesting the way the map veto went down, like I talked about at the beginning of the series. Literally the same exact maps that these guys played about 2 weeks ago at the Star Series LAN. The only difference being that Overpass was played first in that series. But Mirage was even intended to be the 3rd map of that. It ended up being a 2-0 in North's favor, so we didn't have to play that. But the way things are going right now, it's being very likely that we may end up going to the completion of the series and play out that 3rd map. Here we go, back into it. So we had a small tech pause there, but we're back into the game now. And Red Reserve are going to look to shut things down as North
really, forcing in.
Yeah, just scrap by in here. Anything they can get. Sadly, that's not that much. Only 1 AK across the board. Just upgraded pistols, 2 deagles, and 2 CZs are all that they bring to the table besides the AK.
See, looks like they're lining up towards the B push. One player wants a short A. Surely he will go down connector, and then the split will come in. It's going to be Hampus who had an ace not too many rounds ago. It's going to be in the line of fire. Freddy B the same. Kebri already down. That's the AK player on the opposite side of things. So he's trying to bait out where the push is coming.
Problem is, though, this push and Monster is still not going to work out too well without good utility. Look at it. Freddy B is easily shutting everything down, and just like that, you're looking at only Kebri in the fight. 1v5, he's lost the bomb, he's 0 utility to play off of. This is over.
That was a head-shaking round right there. Kebri now 1v5. No chance of doing anything. Like, if he finds a frag, that's
Twist is already watching for him as well.
Yeah, like... This is pretty much impossible for him.
So he doesn't even get that, you know, 1 free surprise kill. There you go.
Nope.
Solid shutdown as Red Reserve have really taken full control of this map now. Not a single point of damage taken on that 4-spot round from North.
Yeah, and thanks to the force buy, this is going to be round 15 with North with no money.
It's probably going to be a pretty similar buy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Almost the exact same buy. Just the AK gets downgraded to an up. And they have a little bit more utility.
North need a miracle right now to take this home. Red Reserve have been solid here on Overpass. Let's see. Molotovs and nades all go in. Damage will be done onto the North players. Freddy B with the first one.
Blindy, but it doesn't matter. He picks up a kill and does great damage to a second, and I'll complete that second kill. Flicks to a third. Finds number 4 as well. And let's see if we can end this map on an ace or not. Valide's now alone. A 1v4 set against him to try and clutch out this situation, but it's not going to work out. Hampus gets the last kill, and we will indeed see Red Reserve hold on as they take control of map number 2 and send us to Mirage to figure out a winner for this series.
Mirage will be the decider between these two teams, and definitely an interesting map. For sure, a map that will allow individual players to have more space. This is the map choice for all the puck players. Like, this is where, let's say, a simple on Esperanto really can be let loose. The question is, what players from these two teams will be the ones to carry the torch here? Definitely looking at Mert for that middle control, both at T and CT side. He needs to step up his game. He has the potential to do it as well. We all know how good he can play. We saw it on Nuke. This was nowhere near that level. The rest of the team also needs to step up a bit. I know Overpass is not their map of choice, but definitely could have done better here.
Yeah, and like we saw in the past, they were able to pull off a 2-0 in the same exact map series previously, so probably a little bit unfortunate for themselves that they weren't able to pull that off again. But like we said before, they still have Mirage coming up in just a couple of minutes. They're able to look forward to that, and that, like we were saying before, tends to be a little bit more even map across the board for a lot of these teams. So we're going to get, obviously we had one map that went pretty dominantly into North's favor, one map that was relatively close, but still ends up going towards the Red Reserve, and now we'll see that last final clash on Mirage in just a couple of minutes.
That's what we're going to be looking forward to here. It's going to be interesting. Like, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but luckily, we'll have to wait and find out. That's going to be coming up after the break. We're going to have Mirage ready for you. See you then.